I love so many things about Texas, and moving here from Germany has been the greatest adventure of my life. Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Willkommen auf meinem YouTube-Kanal. I am Sonja, I am originally from Germany, and I have been living here in West Texas for about a year now. And in today's video, I wanted to tell you what I love about Texas. And before we dive into the video, just keep in mind that Texas is very diverse. So someone who lives in another part of Texas may have a completely different experience. But of course, on my channel, it kind of just revolves around my life here in West Texas. So let's dive right in. Number one, what I love about Texas. So here in El Paso, Texas, we have these amazing mountains, and I really love seeing the scenic mountains here in Texas. These are the Franklin Mountains, and we also have a Franklin Mountains State Park here. It's pretty impressive. We have an abundance of cacti, also a lot of wildlife. So I also saw this one lizard. It's also very hard to see here, the lizard. So we have an abundance of cacti, wildlife, and overall you can kind of just see the desert landscape here. It's pretty impressive, especially for me coming from Bavaria, Germany, where we just don't have these mountains and the desert landscape. Another thing that I really love about here, El Paso, Texas, when we drove from Texas to New Mexico, I was just really impressed by how the landscape changes when you drive, to New Mexico. And I was just really impressed. You driving there on the highway, not a lot of cars. It was just kind of really impressive just seeing that, because you have these wide open skies, like these skies. It's absolutely amazing. And when you're just driving on the highway, yeah, you feel so alive and free. You're just driving there. You don't see a lot of houses or cars. It's pretty amazing. So if you ever go on a road trip here in Texas, it's kind of just amazing. The only thing, you have to make sure that you have enough gas in your tank, because yeah, the next gas station might not be for another hour or two, right? But I really loved driving to New Mexico and, seeing the landscape there. Moving on to another point. So I definitely love, these wide open skies here in Texas. And I also love seeing the El Paso skyline, especially when the sun is setting. You have these spectacular sunsets and then all these lights. So it's really amazing when you see the skyline. And I love seeing that. It's impressive. Moving on to another point that I think is both a pro and a con. So since we live here in West Texas, we are very close to New Mexico and also Mexico. So for instance, if you like traveling, you can basically visit Texas, New Mexico, and Mexico within basically a few hours or within a few days. So I definitely enjoyed, going to New Mexico. I think we'll definitely go back. And that's kind of a pro and a con. So some people like the fact that we live so close to New Mexico and also Mexico. But others may say, well, we're so far away from the other cities in Texas. So it's like a pro and con. But I've also heard people telling me that, they go over to Mexico for like medical treatments, whether it's you want veneers for your teeth or teeth whitening, IVF, you name it. It's kind of just cheaper over there, at least from what I've heard. But yeah, basically, if you like traveling, you could stay here, for instance, in Texas, then you go over to New Mexico and also Mexico. You've been to two states in the United States and another country. That is pretty unique, I think. The fact that, we could go over to New Mexico and then back to Texas all within a few hours, basically. Another thing that makes living here very unique, I also love seeing the murals here in El Paso. These are kind of like the paintings that we have. For instance, in downtown El Paso, that's pretty amazing. And I also love the fact that we have a lot of water parks here in El Paso. I personally love going to the water park when it's really hot, August or July. It's really hot. And then it's just wonderful when you can spend, the day at the water park. It's cool. We went to the Wet and Wild water park last year. That was really nice. And I think that's definitely kind of a highlight here when you can go to the water park. I love that. And another thing, since it can get really hot here in El Paso, Texas, I also love just the different kinds of iced coffees that we have here. This is the size, so I also feel like this is bigger. This is the large coffee. I also feel like that's bigger, as they say, everything's bigger in Texas. So that's also something that I love, all the different types of iced coffee, whether it's the Americano iced, matcha latte iced, cappuccino iced, because in Germany most cafes and bakeries sell hot coffee, and it's also smaller. At least that's my opinion. I feel like it's smaller. Uh, And another interesting difference is that the iced coffee in Germany is also different, because the iced coffee in Germany is basically a type of dessert. It is coffee with vanilla, ice cream, and cream. And it's not the same as the iced coffee here in Texas. So the iced coffee in Germany is more like a dessert. However, the iced coffee here in Texas is basically just cold coffee. They put ice cubes into it. And yeah, depending on what you choose, you can also add some flavors, or you choose the matcha latte. Yeah, it's really cool, especially on a hot summer day here in Texas. You go to the coffee shop, get a matcha latte iced or the Americano iced. Yeah, it's wonderful. Moving on to another point, that's also something that I love, is when you go out to eat, you always get ice cubes or ice in every drink. That's also not so common in Germany. In Germany, you usually don't get like the ice in your drink. And the last point for today, I also love learning more about Texas. In this travel magazine, you can see that Texas has kind of different regions. So we are here, which is considered the Big Bend country. So here we have more a desert landscape. But then you also have here, for instance, the Panhandle Plains, South Texas Plains, Hill Country, Piney Woods, prairies and lakes, and the Gulf Coast. So Texas is very diverse, and other parts of Texas just look different. They may be not, as dry as here. There may be more trees, and maybe also not these mountains that we have here in El Paso. And it's also interesting how the weather is different, because here in El Paso we have a really mild winter. We have hot summers. It's a dry heat, but in other parts of Texas it may be more humid. So it's still hot but humid, and here we have just the dry heat. So Texas is very diverse, and depending on where you live, you may have a completely different experience. But here we have, mild winters, hot summers, and another interesting fact about here, the area West Texas, we have dust storms or sandstorms. So that's usually like, I think, like February, March, April, and then it stops around May, I think. But we do have these dust storms where, yeah, it's kind of pretty crazy. The wind gusts can reach enormous amounts, and yeah, sometimes the visibility is really bad because of the sandstorm. And then you just basically have to stay inside, or you like have to be really careful if you're driving. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people say, like West Texas has a totally different vibe than other parts of Texas. Texas is very diverse. And in the next video, of course, I'll tell you more points that I love about Texas. So be sure to check out then my part 2, which I'll probably also publish soon. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, be sure to tell me in the comments what you love about Texas. And that is it for today. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Thank you for watching. And I hope I'll see you again in the next video. Schönen Tag noch. Bye. Tschüss.